The message appeared in our family group chat at 11:47 a.m. on December 18th. Marcus, my brother, quick update on Christmas Eve dinner. Kate's parents are flying in from Connecticut. Her dad manages a $200 million investment fund. Mom's handling the catering. Dad's getting the wine. Dress code is business formal. I was sitting in my corner office on the 42nd floor when I read it. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I could see the Chicago skyline stretching toward Lake Michigan. My assistant had just brought in my third coffee of the morning. I typed back, "Sounds great. What time should I arrive?" 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Marcus, actually Sarah, we need to talk about that. My phone buzzed with a private message. Also from Marcus. Can you sit this one out? Kate's parents are really particular about appearances. They're considering investing in the dealership expansion. Having someone who still rents an apartment there might send the wrong message. You understand, right? I stared at the screen for a long moment. I'd rented the same one-bedroom apartment in Lincoln Park for 6 years. It had exposed brick hardwood floors and a view of nothing particularly special. The rent was $1,800 a month, which I paid automatically from an account I rarely checked. I could have bought a penthouse, a mansion, an entire building. I chose not to. I understand. Marcus, thanks for being cool about it. We'll do something just us in January, okay? He sent the same message to the family group chat, slightly edited. Sarah's going to skip Christmas Eve this year. He's got work stuff. All good. Dad's reaction appeared instantly. A heart emoji on Marcus's message. Mom added, "That's probably for the best, sweetie. These events can be so stuffy anyway." My younger sister, Jennifer, didn't respond at all. I set my phone face down on my desk and looked out at the city. My family had decided who I was when I was 23 years old. I'd graduated from Northwestern with a degree in finance. Decent grades, nothing spectacular. I'd joined a small investment firm as an analyst. Entry-level position. Tiny desk. Long hours. Marcus, 3 years older, had just bought his first car dealership with money from our grandfather's inheritance. He'd gotten the full amount, $800,000, because he was the business-minded one. I'd gotten $50,000 because I just needed something to get started. I didn't argue. I invested the $50,000 in 3 different startups. 2 failed completely. The third one, a logistics software company, got acquired 18 months later. My $15,000 stake turned into $340,000. I didn't tell anyone. I reinvested. Then again. And again. By 27 I had $4.2 million. By 30 I'd broken 8 figures. By 32 I was managing a private portfolio worth $67 million across venture capital, real estate and strategic business investments. I'd also started consulting. Quietly. I'd helped restructure 3 struggling companies, turning each one profitable within 2 years. Word spread in certain circles. The kind of circles where people don't ask questions, they just wire money and trust you to make them more. Last year I'd made the Forbes Top Financial Minds Under 35 list. They'd used a professional photo I'd done specifically for the article. In the family group chat no one mentioned it. I'm not sure they saw it. Meanwhile Marcus's narrative about me solidified. Sarah's doing okay, he'd tell people at family gatherings. She's in finance. Entry-level stuff, but she's working her way up. Still renting, but you know how expensive the city is. Mom would add, she's very independent. Doesn't ask for help even when she probably should. Dad would nod, she's figuring it out. Not everyone can be an entrepreneur like Marcus. The truth was simpler. I didn't correct them because I was watching. I'd learned early that people reveal themselves when they think you're powerless. When they think you need them. When they think you're less than. For 9 years I'd let them think exactly that. What my family didn't know could fill a filing cabinet. Actually, it did fill a filing cabinet. 3 of them in my attorney's office downtown. Investment portfolio summary. Asterisk venture capital stakes in 12 companies. $23.4 million. Asterisk commercial real estate holdings. $31.2 million. Asterisk private equity positions. $8.7 million. Asterisk cash reserves and liquid assets. $3.9 million. Total net worth. $67.2 million. I lived like I made $60,000 a year. I drove a 7-year-old Honda Civic. I bought my clothes from Nordstrom Rack. I did my own grocery shopping at Trader Joe's. The only extravagance I allowed myself was my office. I'd bought a 40% stake in a boutique wealth management firm 3 years ago. We operated from a premium building in the Loop. My official title was Senior Investment Strategist, which sounded impressive enough without attracting family attention. My assistant, Patricia, was one of 5 people who knew the full picture. The others were my attorney, my accountant, my wealth manager, and my best friend from college, Diana. Why don't you just tell them? Diana had asked me 100 times over the years. Because I need to know, I always said. Know what? Who they really are when they think I'm nobody. Diana understood. She'd grown up poor, worked her way through state school, and now ran a successful PR firm. She'd seen enough families torn apart by money to know that hiding mine wasn't paranoia. It was research. The other thing my family didn't know, I'd been quietly helping them for years. When Marcus bought his first dealership, he'd gotten a loan with brutal terms, 8.9% interest, balloon payment due in 5 years. 2 years in, he was struggling. The numbers didn't work. He was going to lose everything. He never knew that I'd bought the loan from the original lender through a shell company. I'd restructured it to 3.2% interest with manageable monthly payments. The paperwork came from Mitchell Capital Holdings, a name generic enough that Marcus never questioned it. He thought he'd gotten lucky. Found an angel investor who believed in him. That angel investor was me. I'd personally guaranteed $4.2 million in loans for his dealership expansion over the last 4 years. Every time the bank balked, every time his credit wasn't quite strong enough, I'd stepped in behind the scenes. Mitchell Auto Group existed because I'd made it possible. And Marcus thought I couldn't even afford to buy a house. Christmas Eve was supposed to be at my parents' house in Naperville. My mother had been planning it for 6 weeks. She'd hired a catering company, bought a new dining room table, and sent everyone a dress code memo. After Marcus's message, the group chat continued without me. Mom, I've seated Kate's parents next to you and Dad at the head of the table, Marcus. That should show them how serious we are about the partnership. Marcus, perfect. Kate's dad mentioned he might want to tour the dealership after Christmas. This could be the expansion capital we've been waiting for. Jennifer, are we still doing presents at 7? Dad, after dinner. Marcus, make sure you talk up the dealership's Q4 numbers. Connecticut Money doesn't invest in anything that isn't already winning. I read it all from my office. It was December 23rd. I had a conference call in 20 minutes with a tech CEO whose company I just helped secure Series B funding. After that, I had a meeting with my attorney to finalize the purchase of a historic building in Wicker Park, a $4.8 million deal I'd been negotiating for 3 months. My phone buzzed. A private message from Mom. Sarah, honey, I hope you're not upset about Christmas. You know how important this is for Marcus's business. Kate's family is very selective. They need to see success. You'll have plenty of Christmases with us. 3 heart emojis. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my banking app and scrolled to a specific account. Mitchell Capital Holdings. Current outstanding guarantees. $4,247,000. I'd personally guaranteed 4 separate loans that kept Marcus's dealership empire running. $1.2 million operating line of credit. $1.8 million for the luxury vehicle expansion. $900,000 for the service center renovation. $347,000 for inventory financing. Without those guarantees, the bank would never have approved Marcus's aggressive expansion. His credit was good but not that good. His collateral was sufficient but not quite enough. I'd been the invisible safety net under his entire operation. I made the call at 3:17 p.m. on December 23rd. This is Sarah Mitchell. I need to speak with David Chen in commercial lending. David was my primary contact at First National. He'd handled every one of my personal guarantees for Marcus's dealership. Sarah, good to hear from you. What can I do for you? I need to withdraw my personal guarantee on all loans associated with Mitchell Auto Group. Effective immediately. Silence on the other end. That's $4.2 million in guaranteed loans, Sarah. If you pull that guarantee, We'll have to call the loans within 30 days unless Mr. Mitchell can provide alternative collateral or guarantors. I understand. Can I ask why? Personal reasons. I'll email you the formal notice within the hour. Sarah, this is going to create serious problems for your brother's business. Are you sure? I'm sure. Thank you, David. I hung up. My hands were steady as I drafted the email. I'd written similar notices before for other investments. The language was precise, legal, final. I hit send at 3:34 p.m. My phone rang at 3:41 p.m. Marcus. I didn't answer. He called again. And again. By 4 p.m. I had 12 missed calls and 7 text messages. Marcus, call me right now. Marcus, what the fuck did you just do? Marcus, the bank just called. They're saying you withdrew a guarantee? What guarantee? Marcus, Sarah, answer your fucking phone. Marcus, this is going to destroy everything. Call me. I turned my phone to silent and went back to work. That night I sat in my apartment with Diana. She'd brought wine and takeout from our favorite Thai place. You actually did it, she said, not quite a question. I did. How do you feel? I thought about it. Relieved. I've been carrying them for so long. It's strange to just let go. Your brother's going to lose his mind. He already is. I showed her my phone. 43 missed calls. 28 text messages. The family group chat had exploded. Mom, Sarah, please call Marcus. There's been some kind of banking mistake. Dad, whatever's happening, we can sort it out. Call your brother. Marcus, I know you're seeing these messages. This isn't fucking funny. Diana scrolled through them, her expression darkening. They still don't know, do they? They think this is a mistake. They can't imagine any other possibility. What's going to happen to the dealership? Marcus has 30 days to find $4.2 million in alternative collateral or a new guarantor. If he can't, the bank calls the loans. He'll have to sell assets, probably the luxury expansion he just built. Maybe the whole second location. And Kate's parents? Investment fund managers don't invest in businesses with shaky credit and loan problems. They'll walk away. Diana poured more wine. You know they're going to come after you. I know. Are you ready? I pulled out a folder from my desk drawer. Inside were 9 years of documentation. Bank statements. Investment records. Forbes article. Emails I'd saved. Legal documents showing every guarantee I'd provided, every investment I'd made, every time I'd quietly fixed something they'd broken. I've been ready for 9 years. Christmas Eve arrived cold and clear. I spent the morning at my office finalizing year-end reports. My portfolio had grown 34% in the last 12 months. I'd helped 4 companies go public, restructured 3 failing businesses, and personally invested in 2 startups that were already showing 10x potential. At 2 p.m. my phone rang. I answered. Sarah. Thank God. We need you to come to the house right now. There's been a terrible misunderstanding with Marcus's bank, and we need to sort this out as a family. What kind of misunderstanding? The bank is saying well, it doesn't matter what they're saying because it's obviously a mistake. But they won't talk to Marcus without you present. Something about guarantees? Sarah, honey, this is threatening Marcus's entire business. Kate's parents are arriving in 3 hours. Please. I checked my watch. I'll be there in 45 minutes. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. This is just a banking error. We'll clear it up and then have a lovely Christmas. I hung up and called my attorney. Robert, it's Sarah. They want a family meeting. I'm going in. Do you want me there? Not yet. But have the full documentation ready. I'll call if I need you. Sarah, be careful. Desperate people do desperate things. I'm counting on it. I drove to Naperville in my Honda Civic. My parents' house was a sprawling colonial they'd bought during Dad's corporate VP days. Marcus's Mercedes SUV was parked in the driveway next to Dad's Lexus. Jennifer's Audi was there too. The whole family was waiting. I walked in to find them arranged in the living room like a tribunal. Marcus sat forward on the couch, his face red. Kate sat beside him, looking uncomfortable. Mom and Dad occupied the armchairs. Jennifer stood by the fireplace, arms crossed. Finally, Marcus said as I entered, do you have any idea what you've done? I sat down in the remaining chair. I withdrew my personal guarantee on your business loans. That's what I did. The room went silent. Your what? Mom said carefully. My personal guarantee. I've been guaranteeing Marcus's business loans for the last 4 years. $4.2 million worth. I withdrew that guarantee 2 days ago. Marcus stood up. That's impossible. My guarantor is Mitchell Capital Holdings, a private investment firm, which I own. You don't own anything. You're a junior analyst who rents a shitty apartment. I pulled out my phone and opened a document. Mitchell Capital Holdings. Registered in Delaware 2019. Sole owner, Sarah Elizabeth Mitchell. Primary assets, $67.2 million in diversified investments. Secondary activities, strategic business guarantees for family-owned businesses. I turned the phone around. Marcus stared at it. You're making this up. This is photoshopped or something. I opened another document. Here's the original guarantee agreement you signed with First National Bank. Look at the guarantor signature page. Bottom right. That's my signature. I've been signing as S. Mitchell, Managing Director, Mitchell Capital Holdings for 4 years. Dad grabbed the phone from Marcus's hand. His face went white. This can't be real. Sarah, you're saying you have $67 million. $67.2 million as of market close yesterday. Jennifer laughed. It was a sharp, disbelieving sound. Bullshit. We would know. You drive a Honda. You rent. I choose to drive a Honda. I choose to rent. I don't choose to guarantee loans for people who disinvite me from Christmas because I'll bring down the class. Kate's face flushed. Marcus looked at her, then back at me. We didn't mean it like that. You meant exactly like that. You texted me that having a renter at your Christmas dinner would embarrass you in front of Kate's investor parents. You said I'd send the wrong message. Because we thought, Marcus started. He thought I was poor. You thought I was struggling. You thought I was the family charity case who needed your pity and Mom's concerned phone calls and Dad's disappointed headshakes. Mom stood up. Sarah, that's not fair. We've always supported you. You've always condescended to me. There's a difference. I pulled out the folder I'd brought. Here's 9 years of documentation. Every investment I've made. Every company I've consulted for. Every time I've quietly fixed your mistakes. I spread papers across the coffee table. March 2019. Marcus's first dealership was going bankrupt. I bought his predatory loan and restructured it at 3.2% interest. He thought he'd found an angel investor. That was me. September 2020. Dad's consulting firm lost its biggest client. Revenue dropped 60%. You were going to lose the house. I anonymously hired your firm for a $180,000 market research project that didn't actually need to be done. You thought it was a lucky break. January 2021. Jennifer's nonprofit was $67,000 short on its annual budget. About to close. I donated anonymously through a donor-advised fund. Jennifer told everyone she'd secured a grant. November 2022. Mom's friend's catering business was going under. Mom was so upset. The business got a mysterious $40,000 investment from a Chicago-based entrepreneur who wanted to remain anonymous. Mom thought it was a Christmas miracle. The silence in the room was absolute. Jennifer's voice came out as a whisper. The nonprofit donation. That was you? All of it was me. For 9 years, I've been the invisible safety net under this entire family. And not once, did any of you think to ask how I was actually doing? What I was actually capable of. You just decided I was the failure and you stuck with that story. Marcus's voice cracked. Why didn't you tell us? Because I needed to know who you really were. When you thought I was poor, when you thought I was struggling, when you thought I was nothing, I needed to see how you'd treat me then. Dad's hand was shaking. Sarah, we never thought you were nothing. You uninvited me from Christmas because I'm a renter. Those were literally Marcus's words. Having a renter there would be awkward. I wasn't even worth a seat at my own family's table. Kate spoke for the first time. I didn't know about any of this. Marcus said I was an embarrassment. And you agreed. You told him I'd hurt his image in front of your parents. You're meeting them in, I checked my watch, 2 hours. Better figure out how you're going to explain why your fiancé's business just lost $4.2 million in credit backing. Marcus sat down heavily. The bank said 30 days. If I can find alternative collateral or another guarantor, the loans don't get called. Can you? Though. Not $4.2 million. My assets are all tied up in the dealerships. And Kate's parents. He looked at Kate. If they hear about loan problems, they'll never invest. Then I guess you're fucked, I said calmly. Mom started crying. Sarah, please. You can't do this to your brother. To this family. It's Christmas. You did this. I'm just removing myself from a situation where I'm clearly not wanted. Dad's voice was hard. So this is revenge. You're going to destroy your brother's business because your feelings got hurt. I looked at him for a long moment. No, Dad. This is boundaries. You don't get to treat me like a failure and then demand I keep saving you. You don't get to exclude me from the family and then expect me to keep funding it. I'm done being the secret safety net for people who see me as dead weight. I stood up. Wait, Marcus said. What do I have to do to fix this? You can't fix this. There has to be something. Some way I can, please, Sarah. The dealership is everything. It's my whole life. I paused at the doorway. You're right. It is your whole life. Because you built it on my money while telling everyone I was a failure. You want to save it? Figure it out yourself. Like I did. Jennifer stepped forward. Sir, wait. I'm sorry. We're all sorry. Please, can we talk about this? You had 9 years to talk to me. You chose not to. Merry Christmas. I walked out. Behind me the screaming started. I was halfway back to the city when my phone exploded. Marcus, you can't do this. I'll lose everything. Mom, Sarah Elizabeth Mitchell, you turn this car around right now. Dad, this is extortion. I'm calling my attorney. Jennifer, please. Marcus is crying. I've never seen him like this. The family group chat was a disaster. Marcus, she's been lying to us for 9 years. Mom, I don't understand how this happened. How did we not know? Dad, she deliberately deceived this family. Jennifer, she said she donated to my nonprofit. The $67,000 that saved us. That was her. Mom, that can't be right. Sarah doesn't have that kind of money. Jennifer, she has $67 million. The messages came faster. Marcus, the bank called again. Kate's parents land in 45 minutes. What the fuck am I supposed to tell them? Kate, maybe tell them the truth? Marcus, that my sister destroyed my credit out of spite? That'll go over great. Dad, Sarah, your mother is having a panic attack. Call us immediately. I turned off my phone. At 7 p.m. I was back in my apartment with Diana. We'd ordered Indian food and opened expensive wine. My phone was off. Her phone was on though, and she was reading me updates from her own family group chat. Her sister had married into a family that knew Kate's family. Oh God, Diana said, scrolling. Kate's parents arrived. They're at your parents' house right now. How's it going? According to my sister. Not well. Kate's father asked Marcus about the business loan structure during cocktails. Marcus apparently went white and excused himself. He's been in your dad's office for 20 minutes. Kate's mother is making polite conversation with your mom, who apparently can't stop crying. And Kate, sitting there looking like she wants to disappear through the floor. My work phone, the one only colleagues had, buzzed. A text from David Chin at the bank. David, your brother just called me at home on Christmas Eve. He's begging me to reverse the guarantee withdrawal. I told him it doesn't work that way. He started crying. Sarah, I've never seen anything like this. What happened? I didn't respond. Diana poured more wine. You know this is going to get worse before it gets better, right? I know. Marcus might actually lose the dealership. He might. And you're okay with that? I thought about it. 9 years of being condescended to. 9 years of being pitted. 9 years of being excluded, dismissed, treated as the family charity case, while I quietly kept them all afloat. I'm not okay with it, I said finally. But I'm done protecting them from consequences they earned. At 9:47 p.m., my phone turned back on with a flood of messages. The most recent one was from Marcus, sent 10 minutes ago. Marcus, Kate's parents left. They're not investing. Kate's not speaking to me. Mom won't stop crying. Dad's talking about disowning you. I hope you're fucking happy. And then 5 minutes later. Marcus, I have to tell the bank something on Monday. Please. I'm begging you. I'll do anything. I put the phone down. Are you going to respond? Diana asked. Not tonight. What about tomorrow? I don't know yet. But I did know one thing. I was done being invisible. Done being the secret success story my family was too blind to see. Done being the safety net for people who thought I was too poor to attend their Christmas dinner. For 9 years I'd watched them. I'd documented everything. I'd waited to see if they'd ever actually see me. They hadn't. And now they were finally going to understand exactly what, and who, they'd thrown away. The aftermath came in waves. Week 1. Marcus's bank gave him until January 31st to secure alternative collateral or a new guarantor for the $4.2 million in loans. He couldn't. His personal assets were worth approximately $1.8 million. The equity in his house, some investments, the value of his cars. Not even close to enough. Kate's parents formally declined to invest in Mitchell Auto Group. Word got around in their circle. Other potential investors withdrew interest. When banks smell blood in the water, they circle. Marcus's other lenders started reviewing his files more carefully. Kate returned her engagement ring on January 3rd. She moved out of their shared condo on January 5th. She didn't speak to any of us, but Diana's sister said Kate's mother had been horrified by the family dynamics and had essentially ordered Kate to end the relationship. Mom called me 18 times in the first week. I answered once. How could you do this to your own brother? She sobbed. How could you exclude me from Christmas for being a renter? I replied. She didn't have an answer. Dad sent a formal letter through his attorney threatening to sue me for emotional damages and business interference. My attorney, Robert, sent back a detailed response explaining exactly why that wouldn't work, including a full accounting of every guarantee I'd provided and every legal right I had to withdraw them. Dad's attorney didn't respond. Jennifer, to her credit, actually showed up at my apartment on January 8th. I didn't know, she said when I opened the door. About any of it. About what you'd been doing, about how Marcus talked about you, about the Christmas thing. I didn't know. You hearted his message, I said. When Marcus said I was skipping Christmas for work stuff. You endorsed the lie. I know. I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry. We stood there for a moment. Do you want to come in? I asked. She did. We talked for 3 hours. She asked about the nonprofit donation, about how I'd built the portfolio, about why I'd hidden it. I told her the truth. I was waiting to see if anyone would look closely enough to notice. We should have, Jennifer said quietly. I should have. It wasn't forgiveness. But it was a start. Phew. Marcus had to make a choice. With the loans being called and no way to secure alternative backing, he had 3 options. Declare bankruptcy, liquidate assets to pay off the loans, or find a buyer for part or all of the dealership. He chose option 3. Mitchell Auto Group's luxury expansion, the second location he'd been so proud of, went on the market. A competing dealership network made an offer. $3.1 million, contingent on immediate closing. Marcus accepted. It wasn't enough to cover all the loans, but it was enough to satisfy the bank if Marcus could come up with another $800,000. He sold his Mercedes, Kate's BMW that was still titled in his name, and liquidated his investment accounts. On January 20th, the bank confirmed. Marcus had satisfied the loan requirements. Mitchell Auto Group survived. Barely. But it was half its former size. The luxury expansion, his pride and joy, was gone. His engagement was over. His reputation in the local business community was damaged. He sent me one text on January 21st. I hope this was worth it. I didn't respond. Week 3. On January 24th, I attended the Chicago Business Council's annual awards dinner. I'd been nominated for Emerging Leader in Finance and had won. The award came with a $25,000 donation to a charity of my choice. I selected Jennifer's nonprofit, and a feature in Chicago Business Magazine. My parents didn't know about the award. Marcus didn't know. But the magazine came out on January 26th, and the digital version went viral in Chicago business circles. The profile was detailed. It mentioned my portfolio size, my successful restructurings, my venture capital wins. It included that professional photo from the Forbes article. It quoted 3 CEOs I'd consulted for, all praising my strategic mind. And it mentioned in passing that I'd quietly supported several family businesses through strategic guarantees and investments, though she prefers to keep those arrangements private. My phone started ringing at 7 a.m. on January 27th. That, Marcus, Jennifer. Extended family members I hadn't heard from in years. Everyone had seen the article. I answered one call. Sarah, we had no idea. The magazine, it says you've been, all this time you've been successful. I offered. Why didn't you tell us? I tried to show you. For 9 years. You just didn't look. But the apartment, the car, the way I what? Dressed? Lived? Mom, successful people don't all drive luxury cars and live in penthouses. Some of us just live our lives. Marcus saw the article, she said quietly. He's devastated. He excluded me from Christmas because having a renter there would embarrass him. He told his fiancée I'd bring down the class. He did this to himself. He's your brother. He was my brother. Now he's just someone who needs to learn that actions have consequences. I hung up. That afternoon I got an email from Kate. Sarah, I don't expect you to respond to this. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Marcus told me you were struggling financially, that you were sensitive about money, that having you at Christmas would be awkward because my parents are in a different tax bracket. I believed him. I should have asked more questions. I should have met you first. I'm sorry for participating in your exclusion. I hope you can forgive me someday, though I understand if you can't. Kate. I wrote back, thank you for the apology. I accept it. For what it's worth, you dodged a bullet. A man who excludes his own sister because she doesn't look rich enough isn't someone who'll treat you well when times get hard. I hope you find someone better. She responded with a simple, thank you. I think I will. Stu now. Marcus rebuilt Mitchell Auto Group slowly. He focused on the core business, cut unnecessary expenses, and started actually managing his money instead of spending it on image. We don't speak, but Jennifer tells me he's dating someone new, a teacher who doesn't care about luxury cars or investor parents. Kate married someone else in May, a nonprofit director she'd known for years. Diana's sister sent photos from the wedding. Kate looked happy. Mom and Dad are trying. We have dinner once a month, neutral territory, where they ask careful questions about my work and don't offer unsolicited advice. Dad apologized formally in April. Mom cries less now. Jennifer and I are close again. She asks me for business advice for her nonprofit. I give it freely and she actually listens. Last month she told me, you know what I realized? You were always the successful one. We just didn't have the eyes to see it. As for me, my portfolio hit $82 million last month. I consulted on 2 more major restructurings. Forbes reached out about a longer profile piece. And I bought a house. Not a mansion. Not a penthouse. A 3-bedroom historic home in Oak Park with a garden and a front porch. I close on it next week. I'm still driving the Honda Civic though. Some habits are worth keeping. Last week I got a letter from Marcus. Actual paper, actual handwriting. Sarah, I know I don't deserve a response. I know I destroyed what we had. But I wanted you to know, I finally understand. You weren't hiding your success to punish us. You were giving us a chance to see you clearly without money clouding the picture. We failed that test. I failed that test. I'm sorry. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I finally see you. I finally see what I threw away. I hope someday, maybe years from now, we can try again. But I understand if we can't. You were the one who saved me over and over, and I thanked you by excluding you from Christmas because you didn't look rich enough. I'll regret that for the rest of my life. Your brother, I hope I still get to call myself that, Marcus. I keep the letter in my desk drawer. I haven't responded yet. Maybe I will someday. Maybe I won't. But I learned something important over these 9 years, and especially these last 6 months. You can't make people see you. You can only decide whether to keep standing in front of people who look right through you. I chose to step aside. And for the first time in 9 years, I'm standing in full sunlight, exactly as I am, with nothing hidden and nothing apologized for. Some people call it revenge. I call it boundaries. And I call it freedom.